Hi, welcome to Garden Dialogue, and this is a talk show or discussion show basically aimed at all sorts of topics: everyday life, philosophy, love, God, psychology, spirituality. What else can we add to that?
Oneness and
unity.
Just bringing everything together.
Yeah. My name is Michael.
And I'm David.
And this show is basically, we're going to have a lot of things going on. This is our sort of like introduction pilot show. We're going to have interviews with all sorts of interesting people with different backgrounds, different races, different religions, people that you would consider everyday life normal people, and then people who by society are considered established and, you know, things like that. We have an interesting woman. She's actually she's been published and interviewed by German television, so that should be really interesting. And then I have a 40-year-old Muslim man who has some pretty interesting stories to tell. And
we have a 75-year-old grandma for hemp.
Oh yeah, that's right. She's amazing. She's funny, incredibly funny. So my name is Michael, and little personal background on me: I'm a singer-songwriter and dancer, and now talk show host, co-host along with David, and I'm also a philosopher and very curious about life, and I'm one of those people that want to unlock the codes to the universe, so I'm sort of ambitious in that sense. But really the show is really just about discussion and having fun with it too, and not trying to convert anybody into any specific sort of beliefs and things like that. In fact, it's about accepting each other's beliefs and things like that, because in not doing that, we bring ourselves to a place of discomfort, and we do it to ourselves. And you know, all while understanding that that if someone, if we do have a sort of disagreement with someone, to the point where we need to be away from them, then that's okay too. But let's not judge them at the same time. And actually, I think we'll get into this later, but animals are a really great example of that too. They take care of business and they walk away and they don't think about it again. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I guess I've been on my spiritual journey, well, really all my life, but being conscious of my spiritual journey or whatever, about 2 years ago the whole thing began, and you could say I felt like I ran into a dead end. And at that point I had to figure out what to do. I mean, my father is actually, he's an alcoholic, unfortunately, and so one of the things I did was go to Al-Anon, a group called Al-Anon, which is a group basically where people who are affected by alcoholics go to talk about their troubles. I didn't really have any troubles with that. I don't have any issues with that, actually. I mean, it was something in my life, but I didn't have any issues with that. And what I found was that a lot of people were angry there, and I wasn't in a place of anger, so that wasn't quite for me. But they were on their separate journey, and so I went to a few of those, and that wasn't for me. I actually went to a hypnotherapist too, to try to, I don't know, instill positive habits and things like that, and I don't think I can be hypnotized, so that didn't really work, and that wasn't really the answer. For me personally, the answer was getting in touch with my inner self, getting in touch with Spirit and Holy Spirit, and that may not be the current solution for everybody, because we go through stages, but it was for me, and if you're watching this probably would be for you too. So basically I felt like I reached a dead end, and I had a stepmother actually who she told me about something called A Course in Miracles, and we'll talk a lot about that on this show. She had told me to go there. She said, well, you know, there'll be people there that are more like you and sort of a little bit on the deeper side, a little bit more curious about life, and looking for answers for life. And they have it. They have the answer, she said. And I just was like, I didn't really want to go to that because I just thought, I don't really want to get involved in some cult. I mean, that was my perception at the time. So finally, out of desperation and, like I said, reaching a point of like dead end, I went. And I was very quiet and just listened to what everyone had to say. And then, towards the end, it was actually the most loving experience that I've ever experienced. And it wasn't at all like a cult, because in cults they sort of have rules and regulations where they make you do things and sometimes initiate you and I guess weird things like that. There's none of that. Completely non-judgmental is, and love and peace. And actually I've never felt more peaceful until going to that group. And that's when I met David. Something we have in common is that we're both artists, and obviously we had the spiritual thing in common too. So I met him, and we've been best friends ever since, which is pretty cool. So here we are, both doing a little soul searching and having fun at the same time, I guess, right? So David.
Well, my name is David, and I am not a body. I think of myself as pure spirit, and I knew from a very, very early age that there was something bigger going on inside of me than what I see outside me. And I came to the conclusion that really I am simply a vessel. My body is simply a vessel for learning and for teaching, and then learning yet again, even though, I, of course, like, every other body, eat and groom myself, I'm still not really the least bit interested in being a body or in being a body, or, what goes on outside of me, so to speak. I keep my constant focus always on spirit and, what's happening inside of me. I believe that everything that happens outside of me is unreal, and that my truth as to who I really am really lives within me. I picked up the Course many, many years ago, and since my beginning to read it, I don't like to say that I study it, but I do read it, and I kind of read it randomly. I'll just pick it up and open it up to a page or something and just read whatever is there. But I can truly say that it has absolutely changed my perceptions.
Me too.
And I totally look at things differently than I used to. In fact, it's quite interesting to me that the Course teaches that everything we see within this universe or within this world that we live in is actually 180 degrees of reality. And I really resonated with that because I always felt that way ever since I was a child. I always wondered, well, why does it have to be that way? And what if we did it the opposite way? So I always had a curious fascination with that. So I feel that probably my picking up the Course was some level of destiny.
Awesome.